What is up, everyone? Back with another pre-modern video. This time we're going to be playing Mono Red Goblins. Mono Red Goblins you practically never see. People have talked about it. It's generally accepted that you really want the green splash. You really want access to naturalize. Stuff like Oath of Druids and Engineered Plague are too difficult for the Goblins deck to overcome, and I agree. I think Oath of Druids is really annoying for Goblins, and when they have them, you have to play like 6 naturalize effects to overcome the Oath of Druids, and then if it wasn't bad already, the Oath of Druids deck of choice plays Pyroclasm now. So not only if you answer their oath, they can Pyroclasm your Goblins away. I was miserable the last time I played Goblins against Red Green Oath, trying to deal with all that. So I said, forget that. Let's beat Engineer Plague by playing Goblin King and Rorik's Bladewing out of the sideboard. And obviously, a lot of our Goblins already have a natural 2 toughness, so they can sometimes get across the finish line against an Engineered Plague. Let's max out the Ancient Tombs in our mana base to make ourselves more explosive. So we have 2 ways to cheat on mana. One with Goblin Lackey, one with Ancient Tomb. We have our core engine running, of course. Ancient Tomb is supporting our Ringleaders and our Matrons, which are very mana intensive. We have Maximum Siege Gang Commander, which is enabled by having a heavy mana base. Port over Wasteland is my favorite choice of disruption. Wouldn't mind playing 4 Wasteland for Port in the Mono Red deck. It's kind of a ton of fun. Sideboard, we have Blood Moon for combo, Pyrokinesis for, creature decks, mostly elves opposing goblins, sometimes, zombies and white weenies. And then we got some Blasties for the blue decks. Then we got Rorik's Bladewing to just go over the top. Really, most decks. If our opponent turn 1, turn 2 oaths us, I'm going to be real with you. You're probably cooked. But maybe their oath doesn't come for a little while, or maybe you play like a dodgy game where you just kind of chill, hang out, play some lands, then boom, Rorik's Bladewing, attack, race down the Terraform before it gets bigger than you. Who knows? Probably not going to happen, but you also have the old-fashioned way of like making a bunch of mana, getting a big War Chief attack in, or a big follow-up attack in. But yeah, like I said, Pyroclasm really makes it hard to play around an oath on the table, and just trying to naturalize every single copy of Oath of Druids that they have is just really frustrating, and kind of is a boot on the neck of the Goblins deck. So we're going to play a league, and we're going to try to dodge Oath of Druids, and we're going to try to Rorik's Bladewing some people, and we're just going to have a little fun. I don't think that this deck is great. I don't think that it's better than Red Green. I'm going to be real. I think that Red Green's sort of tricky Oath matchup makes it suspect, but Oath is an inconsistent deck. So obviously you want to naturalize, but hey, maybe you can put it together with a little bit of luck and a little bit of Blood Wound and Bladewing. So let's jump into some games. All right. Time for round 1 versus Atomni. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to have fun. I think this is a cool deck, at least. We're going to mold this. It's not explosive enough. We're trying to mold a Lackey, Ancient Tomb, especially we're on the draw when I get something going. Obviously, this hand's really good against any grindy deck, but so are Lackey hands. Yeah, I'll mold a 5. Opponent on a mold a 5 as well. I'll keep this. Technically as a curve. Turn 2 play, turn 3 play. Opponent opening on Swamp Duress. Not bad. We draw a Goblin Matron. Pass the turn. Nothing to see here so far. Opponent on a 1-lander. And we're just going to turn that into a 0-lander for a turn. I would consider matroning for War Chief if they're but I didn't hit the land. A few options. I could actually matron for Goblin Lackey, which would not be outrageous. I could also just port and chill. I could also play Goblin King, just to wait on the matron. I like the idea of matroning for Lackey, playing Lackey, porting, and then being able to get Siege Gang in. I have no idea what kind of black deck my opponent could be on. I could also just run out this Goblin King, wait on my matron decision based on how things go. I have no idea what kind of deck my opponent is on. God, Magic Online is Pretty bad these days. Go for the Goblin King. Also hide information for my opponent at least. All right. Polluted Delta is very spicy. Opponent could be playing some form of combo deck, which would also be pretty scary. Yeah. Merchant Scroll for Intuition. All right. So opponent is playing Ill-Gotten Gains combo. We're going to get this Ringleader in this turn. They'll get to Intuition, obviously. And then afterwards, we'll hopefully be able to port them off. I mean, porting them off to Intuition was fine, but they have to hit their land drop, obviously, to get the Intuition. And once I sneak in a Goblin Lackey this turn, the game's going to be over. Or I also have the option to just slam Siege Gang, and then the clock is undeniable. Don't think they'll be able to win through the port. The bigger question is if I want to play Blood Moon. I don't think I do. I think I'll just stick with the Red Blasts. City of Traders is a good draw for them. Okay, Intuition. Open up with 5 mana, a bunch of cards in hand. Potential for Ill-Gotten Gains. Hit for 5. No possibility of doing better than that. Alternately, can get Matron for Warchief. Matron for Warchief with port means that I can go Warchief into Incinerator, which would be enough damage. So that's a good half measure. But part of me feels like going all in is quite good. No, I think half measure is good. I guess Lackey also works. So if I just like play Lackey, my next attack does 5, 6, 7 damage, and then I just put in the Siege Gang. Seems fine. So Intuition probably gets like triple Lion's Eye Diamond or something. Triple Ill-Gotten Gains. That's the other option. So it's got to be Ritual, Lion's Eye Diamond, Ill-Gotten Gains. Quite a bit of action. We'll see if they have it. I had the option to port the Swamp, actually. Stop them from having enough black mana to cast Ill-Gotten Gains, because they do need to cast Dark Ritual. So could have thought about that. Didn't. They need 2 rituals. Okay. Ritual, LED. Opponent plays Ancient Tomb. So now they're back down to only needing 1 ritual, but they need 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds. So yeah, I think I could have ported the Swamp at the beginning of this turn. Would have been a little bit better. It's kind of a 50-50. But I guess porting the Swamp means I force them to play a Swamp, and then they would just have Swamp Island, City of Traders. Got to think about their deck a little bit more, what they can and can't go off on. Opponent passes the turn. That's normally very good for me. Unless they, I should have cycled that Incinerator. Got a little bit too excited. See if they have some secret technology here. They do not. All right, got game 1. Okay, so yeah, the question becomes if we want Blood Moon. So Tinker could destroy an onboard Lion's Eye Diamond. Probably not that important. Prospector doesn't seem necessary. Goblin King is slow. Sharpshooter is bad. Bring all these in. Oh, Incinerators are bad, actually. I feel like Blood Moon could be relevant. They need a lot of colored mana. Like their only blue source could end up being, whatever. And this shuts off all the soul lands. Shuts off my own port. It's interesting consideration. So maybe I'll play Prospector and King because these can kind of lead me to speed up what I'm doing a little bit. Should be fine. Okay, I've got a port. I've got some more chiefs. I've got a Pyroblast. I think these are pretty reasonable cards to have in my opener. No Lackey obviously isn't great, but I can imagine my opponent tries to fight Lackey, and I think I can snowball out of control quite quickly with these War Chiefs. Put on a Multi-5 again. Their deck might just be a bit on the inconsistent side. Opponent has a Polluted Delta. That Pile Driver is really good. Yeah, opponent does have dual lands, so don't mind that. Another Blast. Okay, we can play quite defensively here, but getting the Pile Driver into the War Chief is pretty sweet. Puts on a pretty fast clock. Force my opponent to win on turn 4 with not a lot of cards. The pile Driver now on the Intuition turn. It could main phase Intuition to get around port. But basically I'm thinking I can go Pile Driver, port into War Chief. I think I'm going to do that. Port the Underground River is fine. Opponent thinks that I drew a terrible hand. I think my hand's got what it needs. Skirk Prospector, quite a good draw there. Lets me get in a lot of damage with haste. And yeah, opponent will just be dead next turn. I have double blast backup. So unless they just roll up the combo on their own, then that'll do it. Frantic Search. I think The next attack is what? It's short 1. Oh, I should have... actually, no, this is fine. Yeah, put my opponent down to 1, get to port them on the upkeep on their black mana, and then ride this blast to victory, maybe. You may cast Mental Note. Well, actually, why not? Because there's no way my opponent can win off 2 lands and 4 cards. Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains. It'd have to be Swamp, Ritual, 5 cards. Swamp, Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains. Mental Note, yeah, I don't think so. All right, jumping into match 2 with Giant Santa. Lots of mulligans. It's okay. This one's fine. Got a little nice 1, 2, 3. Nice. Little mirror match. Who goes harder in the mirror? Hard to say. Luckily, I had the answer for this Lackey. Things would have gotten awkward otherwise. Oh, their own Mog Fanatic. Oh, no second land. It's pretty good news for me. Oh, War Chief is also good news for me. I kind of have everything I need. Obviously, I don't even know what I want to do from here. I think I could just Matron. I still actually just want the Sharpshooter. This is all goblins, right? Yeah. So Sharpshooter is good because I can threaten a turn where, like, if I hit Mountain, go Mountain, so I can go War Chief into Sharpshooter. Seems kind of fine. I could also just get Prospector and have Prospector or Siege Gang at some point. But I think we'll get, or I could just get Ringleader. Ringleader just seems probably fine. Ringleader or Gem Palms both seem fine. Getting Endless Ringleader seems fine. It all seems fine. This is kind of an interesting spot. I really don't know what to do. I've really never played Goblin's Mirror, so I'm gonna go Ringleader, then I'm gonna go Siege Gang, then I'm gonna go War Chief into Sharpshooter. I think threatening War Chief into Sharpshooter at any point in time is probably super good. Opponent does find the second land. Okay. Obviously our Ancient Tomb is hurting us here, but it's fine as long as we stay on front, out in front of our opponent. I like this selection here. Opponent could cycle a Gem Palm. They're just going to take 3 on the chin. Okay, so I actually hadn't mathed this out too good, unless of course I just draw a pile driver here, or draw a land for the pile driver. So my opponent has access to haste before I do. That is my mistake. So this turn we definitely have to have blockers available. Not proud of how I navigated. I also would love a Gem Palm here. Okay, let's try to get the battlefield back. It's going to cost us some life. But if we can get the Siege Gang down, we can stabilize. Opponent missed a land drop and then hit their next 2. They possibly just misclicked through their turn. There's no point fogging this War Chief with the Fanatic, I'm pretty sure. My opponent ended up with the mana advantage on me. Their own Sharpshooter with haste. Better than mine. Full on attack. Lots of Sharpshooter triggers. Guess I needed to get Mog Fanatic. Man, my opponent gassed me like super hard. Good thing we have 4 Pyros. Probably more than they do. Finally got the Mountain, Warp Chief, Sharpshooter, and then I'll go down to 3. Don't see a better line than getting the Sharpshooter off the battlefield. Playing Ringleader. I mean, I guess I could Ringleader for like Mog Fanatic. Kind of the same thing. Kind of the same spot. Except for Ringleader's a better blocker than War Chief. Okay, well, whatever. We're not winning this game. It's very sad. Somehow looked good for us until it didn't look good for us at all. I mean, that's just like tempo, right? They just use their mana so much better. It's like the turn I played Ringleader, I actually time walked myself. I ended up with like too much value in my hand. Playing Sharpshooter Chicken there was fine, right? Because then I can like chill, but I didn't want to take the brain power of like figuring out the best way to navigate that. Whatever, we're down to 3. We're dead to everything. Technically not dead. Now we're dead. Yeah. Okay. Little Goblin's Mirror. I have 4 Pyrokinesis. Goblin King's kind of funny. If we ever get in a board stall, probably won't. What goblins are bad against them? Is Pile Driver just bad? Does Pile Driver ever get in? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if Pile Driver doesn't get in, Lackey definitely doesn't get in, right? But I am on the play. I'm on the play with Pyrokinesis. Okay, so I'll try it. Pile Driver's out on the play, and then Lackey's out on the draw. Even though I need Lackey to block their Lackey. I like all these other goblins more, that's for sure. Oh, the other question is if I take the draw. Okay, let's see. We go Mountain, we go Port, we have 1 removal spell, we have eventually Siege Gang. It's not the best hand, but it's got some pretty reasonable upside with stuff to do with my mana every turn, Mild Disruption, port them off one of their turns. I'm lucky. Willing to trade my Prospector and get some Incinerator value. Rather block with this Prospector than use my Incinerator on a Goblin Lackey, I think. And that's actually kind of exactly the reason. A little flooded. At least we can port our opponent off of their War Chief turn. Okay, I think I should be able to table flip here. Wow, I'm going to discard to hand size. Okay, these are good tools, right? And I actually want every single mountain over this port. Just like never going to use this port. I think I got to have the tools here to just close this out. Sequencing, once again, is going to be pretty mind-boggling. I really want War Chief first. I don't want War Chief to die. I can Matron for Incinerator to keep the board clean. I could War Chief Matron. I can War Chief Ringleader. Opponent, 4 mana. Could be scary. It's scary that they started with a War Chief in play. The War Chief advantage seems to be the thing that's mattering a lot. Go Matron, Incinerator. This line is pretty bad against Pyrokinesis, which I hadn't thought all the way through. So I kind of have to let my opponent untap with a War Chief if I'm worried about it. They didn't I think they yielded through this turn. They're going to go for it. It seems a little insane, but they have it. It's obviously devastating. So maybe I should have thought about it farther. Yeah, shoot. Okay, well, at least I get Consolation Prize, but I should have gotten 2 damage in at least. It's a funny Goblin King. Opponent playing Wastelands instead of ports. Oh my god, those are some good hits. Not sure what I even pitch now, because next turn I can go War Chief. Good stuff. I could go War Chief Matron. Kind of still want to draw lands. I think we have enough value here. War Chief Lackey, War Chief Lackey, War Chief Matron, Piledriver. Probably the most aggressive line. Yeah, that Ringleader is going to be a bit too slow, right? So yeah, it should be an insurmountable position. Obviously, Lackey blocks Lackey. Not going to really want to keep a hand that just has Lackey, though. There's like Lackey and nothing else, right? And I'm still just going to want to have like Mog Fanatic or something. And then Piledriver is going to be better than Lackey. Lackey was even kind of good that part of the game, though. It's like if I can stick the Pyrokinesis, then the Lackey still goes crazy. Okay. Fine. Or should I play a Rogue's Bladewing? Took a while to get to 6 mana. All right. Give us a hand with Mog Fanatic, please. Ooh. Dicey. Do I keep hand with plenty of mana, card advantage? No answer to Goblin Lackey. They started the hand with 7. The problem with this hand is that it almost can get 2 Lackey hits in, which I'm a little bit scared of. I mean, I can't, obviously, because Gem Bomb Incinerator. But, yeah, it definitely doesn't beat Lackey. I'm going to try to beat Lackey, I think. Okay, lots of key pieces here. So we're going to go Skirk, Matron, Skirk into Matron. This Piledriver is underwhelming, I think, compared to my other cards. I've seen how important War Chief is. Matron's actually kind of slow. If I go to Matron for Ringleader, it puts so little action on the board. Well, my first hand was better than this, but now it's not. Matron Ringleader. So the reason I'm blocking here is that there's no, like, the game theory is that if my opponent values the Skirk Prospector, then they'll use the Mog Fanatic to kill it, and if they don't, they won't, right? So, like, obviously they don't know how much I value it, but I value it, so Matron. And I think we'll go for a Ringleader for sure from this position, because we have the Pyrokinesis in hand for flipping the table. We're really lucky we won that last game after the Pyrokinesis blowout, but it's because of our own Pyrokinesis and our Ringleader gas, right? Opponent just getting a 1 toughness goblin with their Incinerator is good news for us. Wasteland obviously is good for them. They just have Matron, so they're going to Matron for their own Ringleader. The question is, if they Ringleader, do I want to Pyrokinesis? I think it's a pretty decent amount of material to Pyrokinesis, because my follow-up is going to be War Chief into something good. So I can attack for 2, get War Chief, Pyro K, then go War Chief, whatever. But also blocking's just good, right? Because then I can just block and then have to deal with a 1/1. I'd rather not be forced to use the Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is probably going to ditch Piledriver as well. I think I can play a controlling game from here. Okay, Lackey Fanatic. Opponent thinking about the attack. I'm happy to trade. I'm happy to eat a 1/1. Always have to worry about the fact that they could turn the tables on me too. Okay, so this is a good turn to go for a War Chief Piledriver. Eats a Pyrokinesis, but pretty Nice aggressive play. Obviously, a Ringleader could have been a cool defensive play, but they don't have the Pyrokinesis, so they're in trouble. Pretty psyched that I got to board in 4 copies. Siege Gang Commander would be kind of funny. Ringleader. Opponent has lots of fanatics. They can get in a cheeky 1 damage before everything gets swept up, but they're electing to play things on the main place and go on defense. So they are just going to die. So the question is, so I'm going to go War Chief and a bunch of goblins. I feel like I don't need this incinerator anymore, and I don't really need it as like a emergency thing. Plus, I'll just draw another one anyways. Yeah, kind of a cool little Goblin's Mirror. Just like a big Ringleader hit and big Pile Driver hits and big Pyrokinesis hits. Guess it's kind of just a swingy one. I think Ancient 2 make it a big difference in that match, but not thinking too hard about it. All right, let's jump into match 3. All right, on the mold to 6, just making sure our opponent is confirmed that we're playing this as a league match. Maybe I don't want it to be a league match if my opponent's playing goblins. Or not goblins, but burn. Got a pretty grindy hand if it is burn. Don't mind it. It's get a little slow though. Hand's a little slow. See if my opponent knows to target creatures with their burn spells, or if they're just playing goblins. Whoa. They're playing my goblins list. I think we want to... Nope, they're playing like a Wildfire deck. Interesting. Wildfire decks are good against goblins. There's some consideration here for going for Turbo Warchief. It's really bad against a Bolt, but I really want to be playing cards, spending my mana every turn. I think cycling there would have been just a little meh. So opponent on the 6 mana on turn 3 start. If they just play a giant flying dragon, then I will have to race it. And also, I don't actually run any artifact. Oh my god, there's a Phyrexian processor. Holy Jesus. Well, it's going to be matron for Ringleader time, baby. We're going to make some 4/4s every turn. I think I can race 4/4s. I'm going to be putting pretty significant pressure on them. Pile Driver, get in there. Also, if I draw any goblin, I'll be able to take out the first 4/4 with a guy, but might not matter. Glad I went with my risky line. It was bad in the face of point removal, but these Wildfire red mud decks can't always afford to play stuff like Lightning Bolt. Time for Wildfire. If they get the land drop after this, especially if it's a Sol land, that's obviously good for them. It was like a turn 4 Wildfire, not bad. So I'm just racing Sol land, and then obviously Mog Fanatic or two Mog Fanatics can close this out. Let's see. Mindstone. They're getting close to having their minion, but they're also getting close to being super dead. And also they still need a Soul Land for that minion. So this Lackey is gonna matter. And this Gem Palm being on play is gonna matter. So the only thing I lose to from here is Pyroclasm. And this port is of course gonna add to the pressure. All right, we take game 1. My sideboard's useless. I got nothing. Let's bring in Roark's Bladewing. Trying to get 6 mana against the Wildfire deck's kind of bold, but if I get this in play versus the Wildfire deck, I'm gonna be super happy. Tinker could take out 1 artifact, and then that's exactly it. I guess it takes out artifact creatures, huh? And Phyrexian Processor, are they black or are they artifacts? Phyrexian Process. Phyrexian black. It's a black minion. So yeah. This, I'm not going to trade a Tinker for a Mana Rock. Just not going to do it. Okay, what else? Ringleader's good. Warchief's good. King is fine. Sharpshooter's bad. Although Sharpshooter, I can keep the combo in. So just Mog Fanatic is bad. No targets. Just creates pressure. Yeah, it's fine. Let's get this Roark's Bladewing onto the table, baby. I need my own Fire Diamonds. I have a Tomb, which is good, and I have Warchief, which is good. I don't have a Lackey, but Warchief Siege Gang is probably fast enough to do the first chunk of damage and then worry about the rest later. I guess I should have boarded out Incinerators before boarding out Mog Fanatics, but I guess an Incinerator could take out like a Rothy Dragon. Running out the City of Traders already. Don't know what that's about. Proceed with caution, I suppose. My opponent's developing a lot of mana. Thankfully, I had a mana-rich draw against the Wildfire deck, so not the worst. And yeah, I'll keep my Ancient Tome from being exposed to Wildfire. After I sacrifice 4 mountains, having 2 mountains is going to be a good bounce back. Tangle Wire. Okay. Tangle Wire is a card. They're going to tangle 3 permanents of their own. But yeah, I would have liked to have a Mog Fanatic and play that turn instead of cycling a Incinerator because I would add 2 Fanatics. It's okay. We'll play our own Fanatic, have our opponent tangle themselves. Next turn, we can tangle, get, hopefully draw a 2-drop. I guess we can just, no. The possibility that we draw a Pile Driver is pretty, let's get a damage in. No, let's draw like a Goblin Matron. Our opponent could play like another Mana Rock. I don't know. Running out the City of Traders so early didn't look right to me, but obviously they didn't have another land drop, so they wanted to, oh, and they also stacked their Tinglewire incorrectly. Them's the bad beats. Okay, there's no chance that they'll play Wildfire next turn. So we'll just chill. And we have a lot of Goblin Warchief access this game. Still stacking their Tinglewire triggers wrong. And still missing land drops. They're still 2 away from a Wildfire. And Scroll Rack is definitely an interesting one for a red deck. Okay, how much do I want to commit into a potential Wildfire? Answer, the minimum. I mean, it seems almost like it's guaranteed to be Wildfire next turn, in which case I'll sacrifice 4 mountains, and then I'm going to want to get the show back on the road. So I could get the Skirk, and then on my Wildfire recovery turn, I can play Skirk plus stuff. I probably still need Ringleader in my future. Got to keep the engine running, and then all that's going to matter is drawing the lands. They stacked their fading counters correctly this time. Got it all figured out. The Magic Online interface does get the best of many of us. See what Red Mud has. It's got to be a Wildfire, right? I guess it's got to be Soul Land Wildfire, which is the rub. Temporal Aperture is not going to be enough. So maybe I should have gotten the Skirk Prospector. Should have put myself... Oh, no, there's a Pyroclasm. Dwarven Ruins. So we're going to go Warchief, and then we'll have 4 remaining for Siege King. So seems fine to me. Port's interesting, but they still need a Soul Land to make that Pyroclasm happen. So my alternatives are to go Warchief Ringleader. Wait, I don't have enough mana because this is 3, and then I'll have 3 remaining. Oh, I should have played the Port because I don't want to sacrifice 4 mountains. Ooh, mountains to the bottom. I guess maybe I could port my opponent after they Wildfire. I can just go Lackey Port after they Wildfire. It's not the worst idea. They don't have Wildfire mana. They have Temporal Aperture mana. Big spin. Nope, Covetous Dragon. We are just going to completely ignore that, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 is Lackey. 1, 2, 3, 4 is Siege Gang. 1 is Lackey. So I can play everybody. In a everybody get in here situation. So go play. I could pay 4 mana, and then I'll have 4 mana for tossing Gobos. So they block the Siege Gang. I get in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm 1 off lethal. Sort of. But they're really far from, like, whatever. So I can go Warchief, Lackey, get in. Interesting. Or I can just do nothing. I could play Lackey, attack, force them to block Lackey. Go Siege Gang, attack with everything but Siege Gang. I could kill the Covetous Dragon after blocks. I think I'll just put, like, crazy life total pressure here. Like Siege Gang. What if I go Lackey, Warchief? It's like basically the same because I'll get in for 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like literally the same. I can just kill the Covetous Dragon. I don't want to get blown out by another Pyroclasm, and my opponent's dead in 2 turns anyways. How good would Goblin King would have been? Okay, make sure I don't miss lethal. We're going to do 5. We could do 6, 7, 8, 9. I think not exposing myself to a sweeper is solid. They went all in on this Covetous Dragon, so they're really counting on it to do a lot of work for them. Although a Meltdown would have been the funniest way to kill them there. Well, Meltdown for 3. But yeah, no way I'm putting Meltdown in the sideboard. Rack for probably 4 cards. Mountain. Obviously needs the Pyroclasm. And then even if they don't, they're still in potential danger. Mindstone of Pyroclasm is not bad. Oh, but being dead is bad. Okay. Oh. I mean... Gotta do it. Glad my opponent didn't concede there. All right, jumping into our next match versus Artie. Artie's been playing a really cool Legends deck recently. So we will see how it fares against Goblins. Artie's got some Mirri Cat Warrior action in his deck. So Mirri Cat Warrior. Definitely something to look out for. Artie on the mulligan to 6. This hand pretty sweet. Notably, we haven't really got a Lackey start yet, huh? It's kind of sad. But Fanatic, Pile Driver, Matron, Fanatic into Pile Driver into Incinerate something is good. Fanatic into Matron into Ringleader is not the worst. So we got some options, but we will be not too explosive. Gonna have to try to kind of play both tempo and grind here. Okay. So Matron Ringleader is a pretty decent sequence here. Matron, Pile Driver is not bad. Pile Driver does put a bit of pressure on. Matron, then Ringleader. Then after Ringleader, try to Ringleader into a War Chief and hit Pile Driver. Matron's a little slow this turn is my only thought. Other thought is thinking if Artie values this Korean Ranger. Korean Ranger kind of gets in the way. It's a blocker. I don't know. I mean, Artie's deck contains one copy of Rafellos, which could be scarier. I think Matron Ringleader is probably a good line, although, let's see. Maybe Pile Driver's the line. Just put a lot of pressure on. But then the next turn, I don't even know what I Matron for. All right, let's get this attack in. I think I'm going to kill this Ranger right away, obviously. Yeah. Same kind of game theory thing that we were running into last time. I mean, because we don't have the War Chief, I think I'd rather Matron for Ringleader. Also, Artie did not know if we were on burn until we made this play. So kind of a fun little mind game. Survival. Survival being slow, so hopefully we can outrace here. We have some mana disruption, which is not bad, and we have some creature disruption, which is not bad, and we have some pump, which is not bad. See if Artie has anything good to put in play off this survival. Little glory, kind of nifty. Give everything protection from red. Wall of Roots. Okay, so this turn, what do we want to do? Do we want to pile drive? Do we want to king? We want to cast king last. Do we want to destroy the Wall of Roots? Goes for squee. Wall of Roots is going to have quite a low toughness. I want War Chief. So I can go War Chief's Prospector and then sack the Matron to sack the Matron to, so I get a Prospector. It's a little bit too slow. So I really want War Chief this turn, I think. Or do I? Could I just play Pile Driver and just use, I think Port is good. Ringleader plus Prospector, and then have the Prospector up next turn to do Crazy War Chief turn. Because I go Prospector, sack Matron to like whatever, sack Ringleader, then I'm attacking with War Chief, Prospector, Pile Driver. It's not that impressive. So why don't I just go Ringleader into Prospector? How important is killing this Wall of Roots? It is a lot of mana represented. I think it's fine because next turn I'm just going to be super explosive. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be a little choked on red mana, obviously. Let's see what the best defense Artie can put up with up to 5 mana. Artie looking through his deck, trying to see if there's anything that gets him on defense. Radiance Dragoons. I don't think Radiance Dragoons makes a large enough difference, but we'll see. There's the Dragoons. Did I just do Siege Gang Commander, War Chief, Pile Driver? Maybe I wanted the War Chief in play last turn. I think War Chief Pile Driver is definitely happening because I want to force my opponent to pay the mana. Can I do something like even crazier? Can I go War Chief, Goblin King? I don't really want to trade 2 goblins for 1 though. War Chief. I can try to draw a mountain off my Gem Palm Incinerator. I don't know. I think the conclusion I have made is that I just don't think I'm that sharp at piloting this deck. I'm just like, goblins has so many like possibilities, and just like, you know, my opponent could do all sorts of things. I could do all sorts of things. Yes, please. Mountain's good. Okay, so I can get one more sicko onto the battlefield. What's it going to be? Just a goblin incinerator, right? Just needed one more goblin in play. Is there any way I can like kind of get more goblin in play? Need all of these. Well, I could sack the Prospector and make a Goblin King. No, I don't. I want the Prospector in play after the Siege King gets put in play. Okay, let's get one more sicko. Okay, opponent takes 6 damage, and I get a Siege Gang Commander. Good luck. See, you don't need to disenchant any survivals. You can just plow on through them. Already showed a fair amount of non-basics, but it's a pretty stable mana base with Birds of Paradise access as well. So let's go with the Pyroks. And Rourke's Bladewing might actually be kind of okay. I know Artie sometimes has Commander Isha in the deck. It's got protection from creatures. Kind of stops Rourke's. But it doesn't have protection from Pyrokinesis. So Mog Fanatics are good. Plenty of targets. Lackeys are good. Tinker is bad. Sharpshooter is good. King is reasonable. Incinerator is good. Matron's good. Ringleader's good. CH Gang Commander is good. Kind of want all these cards though. So I'm going to be a tempo deck. What does that mean? Like I'm going to be like a tempo control deck. Like I want all my creature removal, right? You know, I want to like kill birds. I want to jump home Incinerator birds. I want to Pyrokinesis some birds. The thing is, Pyrokinesis doesn't really hit too many other guys. Like, Artie does have like some bulky toughness, but it just allows me to stay on top of tempo. I think King is good to help me brawl with the sort of bulkier creatures that Artie has. I also want the ability to extend for extra damage over the top. Maybe Gem Palm's a little iffy because me having a wide battlefield is like not really guaranteed. Maybe Matron's a little too slow. Slightly less concerned with a grindy game. Let's give it a shot. Maybe we're just going to have Lackey Pyrokinesis and nothing's going to matter from there. Artie is just green-white after all. Okay, well, looks like we're being given this kind of hand instead. Would love to draw Pyrokinesis with this hand. Maybe I should play Blood Moon. That's a Mom. Mom is annoying, but I feel like I can catch the Mom with it tapped. But already my slowness is not going to be good, especially if this is... Well... No, I'm not going to ever catch the Mom tapped. Okay, so yeah, I think we want Pile Driver on the battlefield more with our follow-up play being as it is. Okay, Pyrokinesis has gone up in stock for sure. Might have to play one Mountain over one Rishadan Port. Always a possibility of the mana not cooperating, but what can you do? Green-white, survival, green floating. 2 cards left. Probably goes to get a Wall of Roots. Oh, Birds of Paradise, huh? Love this Pyrokinesis. Okay, so we're going to have to try to do combo goblins here, where I'm just going to try to assemble Sharpshooter and stuff. Like Sharpshooter, Prospector, Siege Gang, stuff like that. So we're just going to have to see how quickly Artie can like kind of gain life out of this. Okay. Oh, the double activate slows down their roll. Makes them less creature heavy. I mean, if they want to miss a land drop to make this happen, then it's fine. Got 2 damage in as well. Got the birds. Yeah. This turn they have access to 3 mana, cast a creature of their choice. Tradewind. Tradewind's a new one. Haven't seen Tradewind out of Artie's deck. Okay. What's our play? Play a couple of Mog Fanatics, I think. Get this Mom off the battlefield. Eventually get this everything else off the battlefield. Should have considered porting the brass here. In fact, I should have ported the brass here. Just playing a little bit too fast. Artie with the Naked Pass. Just give me Pyro K. Friggin' 1/1s. Maybe I need Blood Moon to turn my Ancient Tomb into a mountain afterwards. So Artie can Tradewin a Mog, but I don't think that's good. And we're just chilling. Okay. Let's see, what do we do? I think we just Gem Palm Tradewind Rider. Kind of a funny play, but if it forces the Mom tap anyways, it's like fine. Oh, I should have hit the Korean Ranger first. It's kind of a funny interaction. Wonder how many creatures I'm going to pick up here. So Artie can of course save one of his guys. I can't play this stupid deck. I can't think of anything. Can't like think and play at the same time. I don't know what this is. This is something interesting, but at least this means something's going to die. Not sure what's a more important combo piece from this position. My instinct tells me it's the War Chief because it's going to make things super crazy. Oh, my opponent does have access to the card Reverent Mantra, but it costs 4 mana, I think. Or it might not cost 4 mana, I don't know. Or I mean, I don't know if they have, I don't know if Artie has Reverent Mantra. Nope, they're all dead. Okay, we did it. We did it, Joe. Nothing has protection from red, my friend. Pitch Glory, yeah, I see the line. And that, my friends, I don't know. I don't know if that's stack initiation, but it was important for me to get the 3 damage onto the Tradewin. All's well that ends well. I mean, I assume Artie should see it, but because the play was quite telegraphed. But you know, Artie's got Squeeze Survival, but once again, low on mana. Also, I should have, obviously kept my port up. I keep on getting worked around the fringes. Guess this is the reason why I didn't keep my port up. I can get my ringleaders on. Opponent picks up Squee, plays a Forest, plays Wall of Roots, passes probably. Glory a little bit far from getting online. The threat of Warchief Piledriver imminent. Threat of Rishton Port imminent. See if they're going to try to get another creature into play, maybe a Birds of Paradise. Meddling Mage, interesting one. Does have some relevant names, but the pressure here is pretty immense. He's taking a guaranteed 4 next turn, and then, whoa, I don't know what this is for. Picking up, I don't know what you could possibly pick up. Okay, so how do we do this? Siege Gang doesn't change anything because it doesn't have haste. I'm 2 City of Brass taps away from killing, or I guess I'm a few more than 2 because I didn't get in for 6, obviously. But I'm just a few City of Brass taps away from sending Artie out of this game. It's like priced into getting some sort of life gain here, like Spike Feeder or something, whatnot. Obviously, Spike Feeder is not going to be able to beat my overwhelming hand. I also got to keep track of what I've revealed to Artie. Anger. Don't know if Anger is a real threat because Artie would need 1 more land for a deranged tournament. But yeah, I'm at 8, so Bone Shredder is not going to do it because, the Genesis is still in Artie's hand. Don't know what kind of land Artie's going to use to cast this Bone Shredder, but I imagine it's not a great one. Fails to find a creature card yet. Sees the lock. Either that or click too fast. Either way, I'm deterministic thanks to this Mog Fanatic. Okay. 8 power from 4 mana. Stranger things have happened in this survival of the fittest world. But I think it's just going to be a Wall of Roots, pitch Squee, go get Birds of Paradise. Birds of Paradise would have to get Radiance Dragoons. That was a disgusting pyrokinesis, obviously. I like this sequence in that it gets the bodies into play, but it looks like we're short on the Bone Shredder mana that we requested. Can Hardy play Bone Shredder at an instant speed? Yeah, I have been drawing a lot of Ancient Tomb, so I haven't had a lot of busted Lackey starts, but I have been having great Ancient Tomb starts. So 2-0 against Artie. Unfortunate that the thing went crazy. All right, next match. Playing against Ronti. Ronti becoming a fixture of the videos. I don't know, should I mold this for Lackey? It's got Piledriver and a Matron and a Ringleader. Guaranteed mana. It's not the best hand. This is like the worst 7 I would keep, I think. Opponent on the mulligan to 6. It's kind of interesting. I was noticing that the format is getting a little bit slower. And because of that, I felt like grindier hands were more important than explosive hands. This hand doesn't really fare too well against zombies, but we'll see. My opponent's going to have gotten 6 damage in before I have anything to say about anything, so that's definitely a problem. On the other hand, I'll be able to stabilize by turn 5 with the big Siege Gang Commander. If they have technology like Contagion or whatnot, could become quite good. And then obviously just straight removal is good. Wouldn't mind a Incinerator, and in fact, I'll probably tutor an Incinerator here. Okay, I wouldn't mind a War Chief. My opponent is going to disrespect me as so. So we're going to have to meet their card advantage with our own, I think. Incinerator is just not going to be it, because I really need to curve out and stay on the battlefield, stay casting stuff every turn. Unholy Strength. Fun technology from the opponent. So we're going to be trumpet blocking this quite a bit until Siege Gang comes down, of course. No Factory Animate. It's kind of interesting. Kind of tells me that they are sandbagging a removal spell. I do want to tease it out, but I also don't want to take 4 damage. Just let them use their smother. Play Ringleader against this board at 10 life, then play Siege Gang. Can I deal with being abyssed and them also drawing infinite cards? A bad boon's really bad news for me, obviously. Gem Palm's not bad, so I will relax for 1 turn so that I can stick a Gem Palm onto something. Yeah, I think so. Ringleader's a little too slow here. Play Mog Fanatic and pass. Just going to try to grind out and then hopefully be able to deploy haste threats, which will be scarier than my opponent's non-haste threats. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Again, my opponent has a window to respond with removal. So the best way to beat a removal response would be to block with Fanatic on Withered Wretch and block with Piledriver on Zombie Token. If the opponent removes the pile driver. I could also bait the double block. So I could double block and then try to bait a removal spell. Or I could just kill a 2/2. Worry about the Withered Wretch later. Not a bad plan if you ask me. Don't know why my opponent is getting in with the factories. What am I missing here? First strike, protection from white. First strike, pretty good against goblins. Protection from white. Not very meaningful. And another Sarcomancy. Their arena is delivering the goods. I need their arena to give them a couple lands a couple times. But we do have Siege Gang to Siege Gang, so who's really unlucky? If we had Rorik's Bladewing. Rorik's Bladewing is bad against Snuff Out. I don't think Snuff Out is good against goblins, though. Factories getting in. Still going to preserve our life total here. Obviously, throwing goblins is better than letting goblins die, but I can do that next turn at 8 life. This turn is more about survival. Yeah, I think this is fine. My opponent has to play removal, but at this point I've been playing around removal for so long, it's just like I can't play around it for the rest of the game. And they didn't use it on the pile driver like last time. They are activating Mishra's Factory again, just making it even more of an assembly worker. It's an unbelievable amount of assemblies getting worked here. Okay, so hopefully Siege King Commander can work its magic next turn. Just going to try to stay alive and then start throwing goblins. Okay, change of plans. Still blocking to survive. So double block plus chump block is what's going to happen here. Should I have waited for 7 mana to go for the Siege King play? I don't think so, but I cannot be sure. Guess I should just take 6 because I could draw like Goblin King. It's fine. Okay, might as well just pile in then. Whittling away at my opponent's board. Still haven't played a Ringleader. Obviously, Tinkerer. It's very nice. Follow up. Okay, so is there a world? No, I have to block all 3 creatures, which means I need to put another chump blocker into play. And that will be Golden Pile Driver. Dead to any removal spell. Always dead to any removal spell. So 1 time, dealer. So actually what I should have done was conceivably made Tinkerer my bad chump blocker for War Chief. Because my opponent's taking 3 damage on their upkeep. So if I got in for Pile Driver beats for 5 damage, it would have been close to enough with just like one other goblin. So I could have gone for the full board flip. Of course, my opponent could just put zombies into play, and then it's a little shaky. Hopefully, opponent has finally started finding the lands in their deck and is just drawing idiots, little guys. So with the mountain, I can go War Chief, Ringleader, Tinkerer with the activation up. There's a possibility that somebody survives. Definitely want to maximize that. Opponent didn't show a removal spell. There's no way for me to guarantee that the pile driver survives besides, I could do the chump block and then leave the pile driver up. I think it's probably too sketch. I want this Mishra's Factory to die. I want my opponent to be stuck with me at 1 life and then have their stuff kill them. Pump and remove would be incorrect play, of course. Because if they had the removal, they would have just won. Pile driver is the one remaining. Just now occurred to me that I could be using Rishton Port to stop my opponent from attacking with Factory. No, I should leave Port up. What am I doing? But I also know my opponent doesn't have removal because they just would have won the game if they had removal last turn. Okay, they did flood out. Skin of our teeth. Last life. So just dumb creature combat, I can do. Can't do any math beyond that. So Tinkerer against Mishra's Factory. What do we think? Pile driver is actually quite bad. They at best trade for a 2 toughness Guy McGuyerson. Incinerators are good. Matrons are okay. They're a little clunky. Sharpshooter seems fine. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have contagion. We're expecting sorry. We need to do this a little differently. So Mog Fanatic is bad. Lackey's okay. Sharpshooter is fine. But the big thing is that where our expectation is our opponent is going to have Engineered Plague. So we gotta kind of have to live in that world. So Siege Gang is kind of worse if Grinding matters. My opponent's a Phyrexian Arena deck. And we are going to play Rorks. Okay, so Sharpshooter, I believe, is too narrow. Prospector is too narrow. Because we're just going to grind. Just going to get the 2/2s that turn into 1/1s into play. Yeah, well, Tinkerer has 2 toughness. We're on the draw. Can take out a mountain. Goblin Lackey is also like not that exciting. But I can go Goblin Lackey into Pyrokinesis. It's still stringing together like super hyper combo isn't bad. Hate boarding out a red source though. So dependent on it. Take out a clunky little matron, it's fine. So yeah, kind of an interesting one. Opponent mono 2/2s. Me, mono 1/2s. Not quite as good. This hand is borderline. Obviously 2 Ancient Tombs is not the best, but we're not shipping this. I think we're going to use the pile drivers to kind of make them hold back blockers. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. It's a tricky one. There's our best friend. Black Knight, obviously quite good here. It's okay. We're going to go for a pile driver here. Force the Black Knight to stay on defense if it wants to be a thing. And then next turn, if we draw, well, next turn we'll Ringleader. And then eventually when we draw a mountain, what we can do is Goblin Matron for Goblin Jump Home Incinerator. There's the Plague. Luckily we have our answer. Attack. There's no reason not to. Come on, I only get in for 4 damage in return. This Ancient Tomb's going to kill me. Luckily we drew the mountain. We're almost at Rorik's mana. Would have liked to draw on that Pyro K, obviously. But at least this forces my opponent to leave back the Black Knight. Oh, it's 3 damage. It's not even good. Dothy Slayer. Get in there. Black Knight on blocking duty. Firmly. Yeah, I came to game. Just going to take all the damage. Okay, hopefully we draw a mountain. Oh, that's not how that works. Okay, but obviously next turn I get Warchief Pile Driver, which is pretty sick. I don't want to put myself down to 4, though. What do I want to do then? Okay. So 2 + 6. Is this just lethal, though? Warchief, Pile Driver. Both Pile Drivers are 6, 7, 8. So Warchief. So both Pile Drivers are 6, so that's 12. So it's Xaxes. Freaking Ancient Tomb. Making things way harder than it needs to be. So yeah, like I said, don't need to naturalize Engineered Plagues, right? Just need to do this. Just need to get them. All right, next match. Battling up against Light Slider. Goblin's getting pretty lucky so far, I think. Well, how lucky can I be if I never get lucky hands, right? I got the Fair Goblin's hand. 1, 2, 3. See if my opponent offers up with something with 1 toughness. Or just love my opponent to offer up a Grand Coliseum, even better. That is just the speed card that I would like as a Mono Red Goblins player. And I'm liking Port here, get to develop my board, and then when the timing's right, get to go after my opponent's lands. They're going to be paying for colored mana, that's for sure. Let's see if I improve. I do not. So, tough one here. I might even play an Incinerator as a guy. I'll go ahead and attack first. I think Porting is going to be a little bit better than Incinerator as a guy, because I'll get 4 damage in. Well, Sword Splashers action. Yeah, to be expected. Okay, no, I think Incinerator for pressure is a fine move this turn. Especially because I have the Goblin King in hand, and my opponent isn't threatening the possibility of a sweeper. It looks like a little Jeskai control deck. Do another Grand Coliseum. Fire Ice is obviously good here. Oh, Meddling Mage. That Meddling Mage is a lot of damage. This Goblin King is going to be not bad. Let's see if I hit. I mean, Pile Driver has protection from Meddling Mage. So this is looking more like a fair Jeskai deck. And we are going to take the maximum damage from our Ancient Tombs here, I think, to stop the potential Lightning Angel this turn. Wonder if my opponent will play a basic mountain. That would be like a dream, right? Can't be mad at their mana being this painful, though. If they have another plow, they have another plow. Them's the breaks. Okay, interesting spot here. So against Plowshares, this Goblin King lets my Mog Fanatic attack, and I don't even want to attack the Warchief into the Meddling Mage anyways. A little counter magic. Interesting. Okay. Still costs my opponent quite a bit of damage. And I think I'll hit hard here. If my opponent wants to make a value block, they're going to be in plenty of pain. And it just restricts their ability to make colored mana for the rest of the game too. Opponent could be a Silver Knight deck. Maybe I'll just play Blood Moon. Look at this mana base. They can't cast Counterspell, of course, so this should just do it. Okay, lots of dorky dorks. So the big question is, I actually have a lot of super reasonable sideboard options coming in here. In fact, I could bring in my entire sideboard if I wanted to. Start with the obvious. Sharpshooter combo. Yeah, pretty good. However, if I'm going to take Mog Fanatics out, Sharpshooter becomes a lot less good. I don't like Mogs. My opponents offered up no targets. They could have the random Mother of Runes. Huh. Board out Lackeys on the draw. Probably not good. What if I don't make it about tempo? It's hard to play just this card for Mother of Runes as the only target, even if Mother of Runes is a super ripe target. I'll take out Prospector Sharpshooter, take out the package. The rest is good old-fashioned value. So what if I just went down on Lackey, went down on Siege Gang, and tried to be like the Rorik's Bladewing deck? Rorik's Bladewing is bad into Swords to Plowshares, but they're inevitably going to be using up their Swords to Plowshares in the early game. I feel like this Blood Moon is just super good. They had so many. They're like a blue-white deck with a ton on basics. It's probably a little too heretical. Let's take another game to scout out what their mana base is like. They should be a Flooded Strand deck, but they have no Flooded Strand. We'll just surprise them with the Blood Room on the play. We can have Lackey Blood Moon on the play. I'll mulligan this. There's just like no action. No action, no fast mana. That's better. Basic Plains. Nice. Into nothing. It's probably eats Plowshares, but I got the perfect follow-up into 2, into 3, into 4. I've been curving out pretty good. Let's see if my opponent has Silver Knight. My opponent apparently doesn't have a second land drop. My opponent apparently doesn't have a third land drop. Yeah, I guess they really stuck with the mantra of keep any hand that has Swords to Plowshares. Maybe they have 3 copies of Swords to Plowshares here. Can't imagine that they wouldn't have cast it, but whatever. Maybe they have Pyroclasm coming. Ooh, white. True Believer. Do we toast the True Believer? I think so. Get in there with the fam for a big 8. Put in a Ringleader for a big draw 4. Pretty sick. Love to see it. Yep, 4, just like I said. This Ringleader represents 3, of course. But yeah, they need to get Silver Knight Worship together pretty fast. Granted, this deck can't beat Silver Knight Worship, but it's what it is. And 2-0. All right, that concludes our league with Goblins. Very lucky 6-0, I would say. Didn't really play against too many meta decks besides Goblins. Didn't play against any Dreadnought. Didn't play against any Oath. Played against Survival, but kind of a funky Survival. Played against a lot of creature decks that I was able to overwhelm. And yeah, you know, one of my first round opponent's deck kind of failed to function. So got some freebies in there. Still pretty worried about, you know, the variety of things that this deck can lose to. You know, you're giving up Naturalize. In exchange, you get like the 4th copy of Ancient Tomb or maybe like a more disruptive mana base. Even though I run 16 mountains, as you could see, I was still running into RR pip problems. Basically, the same number of games that I went into, like, you know, turn 2 Matron into turn 3 Ringleader, I was like not able to cast War Chief or just kind of in an awkward spot. So even with this mana base, I'd probably trim an Ancient Tomb, trim a Rishadan Port, and just play 2 more mountains, I think. You know, you could consider something spicy, maybe play a Barbarian Ring if you're worried about Silver Knight plus Worship. Not sure if you have any other answers to that, but, you know, Silver Knight Worship, not the most popular thing, and, you know, your opponent still has to kind of put it together before they die. We beat an Engineered Plague, so that was cool. We didn't use Rorik's Bladewing to do it, but could have been good. Yeah, besides Blood Moon, didn't get to Blood Moon people. Nobody was playing combo. I think Blood Moon might be too bad. It's like a cute card, but just doesn't hit as many decks. We played against like a 3-color deck that showed us all known basics, and we're still like hesitant to bring it in. So it's like surprise factor. They'll never be able to remove it, but very few decks I think are like completely hosed by it. Besides, of course, you know, Hermit Druid variants, but some of those even have Lotus Petal. They can get a Birds of Paradise under, although you can remove Birds of Paradise. But so Blood Moon, pretty unimpressive. You know, maybe you should run some Artifact Destruction there. Pyrokinesis, complete all-star. And then, yeah, as far as your like resilience to sweepers, Maybe your Orc's Blade Wing isn't it. Maybe you have to run Threaten. Talked about how bad you are against Oath. And maybe the answer is to just run Threaten in the Blood Moon slot. Other than that, that's the Gobos. Kind of interesting spots, interesting sequences. Didn't play to the best optimal ability, but hopefully got to showcase some pretty fun Ancient Tumen and getting in.